Right? So we have already discussed the control accounts. Now today we will discuss error corrections, one of the important chapter. Right? So in the exam, this won't be a specific question, but this will be a part of uh, another separate question like counting equation, or can be any other, maybe so financial preparation of financial statement, company final account. So this is a part of any other question. So let's move. Error correction. First, we need to understand the types of errors. There are different types of errors, right? So, what is an error? Now, up to now, we have discussed the transaction, discussed the questions which there are no errors. So, up to now, we have assumed that all the entries in the accounting records are made without errors. But in practice, who is recording the transactions? Not the accountant, right? Accountant doesn't record the transactions, right? Accountant will be finalizing the reports and preparing the other important things. So actually the transactions will be entered by a junior or an assistant, right? Accounts assistant or assistant accounts clerk, or someone who is very who may be a trainee, right? So therefore in practice, of course, errors can occur, right? So here we examine how such errors are discovered and corrected. So the accounting errors can be divided into three types. We divide the accounting errors into three types according to the nature of the error, nature, and time of occurrence, when, and the impact to the trial balance. Impact to the trial balance, right? So impact to the trial balance means either some errors, it will affect the trial balance. It will affect the debit and credit of the trial balance. So trial balance will not be equal. And some errors will not affect the trial balance, right? So according to the impact on trial balance, we divide errors does not affect the trial balance and errors which will affect the trial balance. And according to the nature, we divide errors of omission, errors of commission, errors of principal, errors of duplication, compensating, should be compensating errors, and number 6, clerical errors. Because you need to know this because in MCQ questions, in the A-level paper, they ask the type of error. Mainly errors of principle. We have seen in several past paper questions, right? According to the nature, according to the time of occurrence. either when recording in the prime entry books, you record in the wrong prime entry book, right? Or when posting to the ledger, wrong amount, or debit is recorded as credit, credit is recorded as debit, or when balancing the ledger accounts, when getting the total values, or getting the difference, or when preparing the trial balance. So those are the time of occurrence. Let's see some examples. So here we have examples. Errors of omission means omission. Omission means not recording a transaction. Purchase invoice 200 was omitted from the books. Errors of omission. If it is omitted, we have to record it. Errors of commission. Commission means recording lesser or higher value. Recording less value or a higher value. Then errors of principle means does not agree with accounting principle. Accounting principle means asset and expenses increase debit, decrease credit. Capital income liabilities increase credit and decrease debit. So here mainly what happens is an expense recorded as an asset or an asset is recorded as an expense. For example, building maintenance 300 recorded in building account. Building maintenance is expense account. Building account is asset account. An expense is recorded as an asset. Errors of duplication means recording the transaction twice, 2 times. Purchase invoice recorded twice in the ledger accounts. Number 5, compensating errors. That means one error is set off by another error, compensating errors. Sales invoice 800 recorded. No. This is not this. Like, let's say the sales account has been increased by 800 and purchases account increased by 800. So debit and credit is equal, right? So one error is set off by another error. Clerical errors, recording in another same nature account. Like sales to Amal debited to Bimal's account. Amal and Bimal both debtors. So only the name is different. Clerical errors. Time of occurrence. When recording in prime entry books means sales invoice 400 omitted from the sales journal. That's when recording in the prime entry books. And posting to the ledger means credit sales 700 posted to sales account as 7,000. That is when posting. When balancing the ledger account means sales account undercasted. When balancing, it is undercasted, means undervalued. Preparing trial balance means purchase account balance is a debit balance, but it was credited to the trial balance. So these are the errors we divide according to the time of occurrence. Okay. So let's move to an example. Before that, you need to understand another thing. If the error does not affect the trial balance, your trial balance debit and credit side will be equal. If the debit is 100, credit also 100. But if the trial balance is not equal, let's say debit is 100, credit is only 80. Then the difference will be transferred to an account called suspense account. Like if the debit is 100 and credit is 80, there will be a difference. So that difference will be transferred to a temporary account called suspense account. Suspense account. Okay. So what is a suspense account? Suspense account means this is an account which holds the difference of trial balance. So as I said, this holds the difference of a trial balance temporarily. When both sides of the trial balance do not agree, until the errors are traced and corrected, we have the balance. So if the debit side, if the difference of the trial balance is in the debit side, that amount should be debited to suspense account. If the difference is credit side, the amount should be credited to suspense account. So after the corrections, the balance of the suspense account will be eliminated. Balance will be zero. Right? We will do some questions, then you will understand. So when does the suspense account created? If the trial balance does not agree. Or when the specific amount of a transaction should be recorded is not known. If you don't know why there is a transaction, in that situation also we will create a suspense account. Right. So let's do some questions now. So there are less specific questions in the A-level paper. So I will take a question from the AAT. Past papers. Right. Include question number 20. In the cute question number 21, 2020 January 81 paper question number 4. Right, so we need a general journal. You can draw a general journal. Question number 21, page 16. Page 16. Draw a general journal. Date, description, debit and credit. Date, description, debit and credit. And also draw a suspense account. The account. Suspense account. Right. So the question is, trial balance as at 31st March 2019, Janaseta traders was not agreed. The difference of 43,000 was credited to suspense account. Right. So in the suspense account, opening balance, we have to credit 43,000. Right. So draw a suspense account and credit 43,000. Right. Okay, so let's discuss the errors. Number one, cash purchase of 68,900 for resale was recorded in the purchaser's account as 86,900. This was correctly recorded in the cash book. So what we can do is we will show this. We will first do a working. So let me do the workings here. Working number one. Working number one. So we need cash account and purchases account. And draw the accounts. Draw the two ledger accounts. Cash account and purchases account. Okay. Then record the wrong entry first. Record what they have done. So what they have done is cash purchases. The double entry for cash purchases is cash account credit, purchases account debit. This is the double entry. Right. So cash account is correctly recorded 68,900. This is correct. Correctly recorded. But in purchases account, it was recorded as 86,900. So this is correct. Cash account is correct. But purchases account recorded 86,900. So how do you correct this? You have to take this balance to 68,900. So this is how much is more? 18,000 more. So therefore, we have to deduct 18,000 from the purchases. We have to deduct 18,000 from the purchases, and since once you deduct 18,000 from the purchases, the transactions will be corrected. So the difference will be taken to suspense account 18,000, saying purchases. So our correction double entry is suspense account debit, purchases account. This is the correction entry. Suspense account debit, purchases account credit. Working number one. So working is very important for you. So I hope that's clear. Then in the general journal, you can write double entry, correction entry, suspense account, debit, $18,000, purchases account, credit, 18,000. Then narration is also very important because you get marks for that. Correction of cash purchases 68,900 recorded in purchases account as 86,900. Close bracket. So that's the double entry. Correction of cash purchases 68,900 recorded in purchases account as 86,900. Working number. Right, so let's move to the second question. Number 2. Maintenance expense on machinery 33,600 was debited to machinery account. So let's do working number 2. Accounts we need is cash, we need a cash account, machinery account, and machinery maintenance account. So what has happened is first you have to record the wrong entry that they have made. Maintenance expense on machinery 33,600. Double entry is cash account credit. Machinery maintenance account should be debit, but they have debited machinery account. Debited the machinery account. Right? So you can't record this in machinery account. This is correct. Cash account is correct. This is correct. Machinery account, this is wrong. At 33,600, you can't debit the machinery. It should be debited to the machinery maintenance account. So how do you correct this? Machinery account should be credited 33,600. Machinery maintenance account debited 33,000. 600. So that's the correction entry. Machinery account credit, machinery maintenance account debit. So this doesn't affect the suspense account. Debit and credit was recorded. Therefore, there is no difference in the trial balance. Right? So you can record this in the general journal. Number 2, machinery maintenance debit, 33,600. Machinery account credit 33,600. Then we can write correction of machinery maintenance 33,600 recorded in machinery account. Correction of machinery maintenance recorded in machinery account. Number 2. Number 3. So let's do the third one. Additional capital 165,000 introduced by the owner was erroneously credited to the trade creditors account, while other entry has been correctly recorded in the cash book. So working number 3. Additional capital double entry should be cash account and capital account. Cash debit, capital account credit. Right. So but what they have done is cash account is correct. Erroneously credited to trade creditors account. So trade creditors account is credit 165,000 and cash account was debited 165,000. So this was the entry. Cash is correct. So nothing to do with cash. But creditor's account is wrong. This is wrong. How do you correct this? How do you correct this? You have to debit, remove the trade creditors, 165,000, and record it in the capital account, 165,000. So the correction entry, capital account credit, and trade creditors account debit. So that's how you correct it. Okay. Then let's record this in the general journal. Number 3, correction entry. Trade creditors account is debited, 165,000. Capital account. You don't need to say additional capital, it's capital account. Capital account credit. Correction of additional capital recorded in trade creditors account. Correction of additional capital, 165,000 recorded in trade creditors account. That's number 3. So can you do the 4th one? Tell me the answer for 4th one. Rent income received 21,000 has completely omitted. Completely omitted means not recorded in the books. Not recorded in the books. So how do we record it? Rent income account and cash account. Double entry is cash account and rent income account. Double entry will be cash account debit, correct, 21,000, and rent income account credit 21,000. Cash account debit, rent income account credit. So we can write this in the general journal. Number 4, cash account debit, rent income account credit 21,000. The narration. recording the omitted rent income. Recording of omitted rent income of 21,000. That's the fourth error. Fourth error. So can you all do the next? Five. Number 5. Rent expense 98,000 was debited twice in rent expense account, and this was correctly recorded in the cash. 98,000. So what are the accounts? The cash account, working number 5, working number 5. Cash account and rent expense. Cash account and rent expense account. So it says rent expense 98,000 was debited twice in rent expense account. Debited twice in rent expense account. What is the value? 98,000. Debited twice. Cash book is correctly recorded 98,000. Cash is correct. So how do we correct this? So in rent expense account, there is an additional 98,000 that we need to remove from the account. So what is the correction entry? Now this will affect the trial balance because debited 196, credited only 98. So how do you correct this? 98,000 we have to remove from the rent expense. Then the rent expense account will be corrected, and the difference we have to take to the suspense account, 98,000 rent expense. So this is the correction. Suspense account debit, suspense account debit, rent expense account credit. $19,000. The narration, correction of rent expense recorded twice in the rent expense account. That's the narration. Right. So can you all do working number 6? Error number 6. Payment of 109,000 to trade creditor had been correctly recorded in the cash book. Cash book correct, but no entry made in the trade creditors account. Payment of 109,000. So the payment goes to cash book and trade creditors account. Cash book is correctly recorded 109,000. Cash book is correctly recorded, but it was not recorded in the trade creditors account. So this is also will affect trial balance. So how do you correct this? Can you tell me the answer? Trade creditors account, debit 109,000, and the suspense account, credit 109,000. Trade creditors. Double entry in the general journal, number 6. Trade creditors account debit, suspense account, credit 109,000. Correction of payment of 109,000 not recorded in creditors account. Working number 6. Then the last one, number 7. So can you do it? Cash sales 73,900 has been recorded as 37,900 in sales account, and this was correctly recorded in the cash book. Cash book is correct. So double entry should go to cash account and sales account. Cash book is correct, 73,900. But in sales account, it was recorded as 37,900. So this is wrong. So we need to increase the sales account balance. How much we should increase? The difference. 36 So that will be debited to suspense account 36,000. Correction entry. Suspense account debit, sales account credit 36,000. Suspense account debit, sales account credit 36,000. General journal number 7. Six. Correction of cash sales 73,900 recorded in sales account as 37,900. So that's the correction. Is it clear? So we did the journal entries to rectify the errors and the suspense account. And the suspense account, finally, you have to balance total debit is 152, total credit also 152. So suspense account balance was corrected. So after correcting the errors, the suspense account balance will be 0. There is no further differences. Right. Any questions? Any doubts? Right. So let's move to the next question. So I'll do question number 20 in the tube. Question number 20. Okay, so let's start. This is the final answer. You can copy. The narration is, what you have to write is correction of, you can write whatever the error given in the question. Correction of, and write the uh, error which is given in the question. So always you can use that method. Right. So let's do question number 20. In the suspense down and general journal. The general journal. Suspense account and the general journal. And they also ask for the adjusted profit statement. I will explain that after completing this part. So there are 5 errors. There are 5 errors. So let's start. Read the question and try to do as much as possible. The trial balance of Mount Spiel traders as at 31st March 2019 prepared by the accountant did not agree. The difference was 114,900 credited to suspense account. Credited. So in the suspense account, opening balance, we can credit 114,900. We credit 114,900. The draft financial statement was prepared. The net profit is 448,000. That's the net profit. Right. So the net profit will be affected after the correction. So that part I will explain after completing the error correction. Following errors were identified subsequently. Number 1, purchase of computer 85,000. Purchase of computer 85,000 for office use. Office use means it's a non-current asset. It's been debited to computer maintenance account. So when you purchase computer, it should be debited to cash account. It should be credited to cash account and debited to computer account. But they have debited this to computer maintenance account. So first let's write the error that they had made. Cash account was correctly recorded 85,000, but it was debited to computer maintenance account. Cash was correctly recorded, but it was debited to computer maintenance. But this is not computer maintenance, this is computer. So the correction entry will be computer maintenance credit 85,000 and computer account debit 85,000. So that's the double entry for the correction. General journal number 1, computer account debit 85,000. Computer maintenance account credit 85,000. Correction of purchase of computer debited to computer maintenance account. Number 1. Computer account debit, computer maintenance account credit. Right, so let's do the second one, number 2. Cash sales 65,000 was recorded in sales account as 6,500, while this amount has been correctly recorded in the cash book. Right, so can you tell me this one? Cash sales, the double entry should be cash account and sales account. Double entry for cash sales, cash account debit, sales account credit. So cash account is correctly recorded 65,000, but this was recorded in sales account as 6,500. So how do you correct this? We need to increase the sales account by 58,500. Suspense account will be debited 58,500. So this is the correct entry. Suspense account debit, sales account credit. So number 2, suspense account debit 58,500 sales account, credit 58,500. Correction of cash sales 65,000, recorded in sales account as 6,500. That's number 2. Working number 3. Or the area 3. Interest income received 28,200 on fixed deposit has been erroneously debited to interest expense account, and it has been correctly recorded in the cash book. So when we receive interest, double entry is cash account debit, interest income account credit. But without recording it in the interest income account, it was recorded in interest expense account. So cash is correctly recorded 28,200 debited. Right? And the interest expense account also debited 28,200. This is wrong. But can you all tell me the correction entry for this? First, remove from the interest expense, then record the correct entry in the interest income account, and any difference will be transferred to the suspense account. What is the correction entry for this? Tell me. Yes. So interest expense we have to deduct, remove 28,200. Interest income also will be credited, and total amount should be debited. 56,400 should be debited to suspense account. Interest income credit, interest expense also credit. Suspense account will be debited. Yes. Suspense account is debited the double, 56,400. Okay, is it clear? Right. Now let's write the correction entry. Number 3. So 3 accounts will be affected from this suspense account. Debit, interest income account will be credit, interest expense account also will be credited. This is 56,400 suspense account debit, 28,200 interest income, 28,200 interest expense. So this is correction of interest income debited to interest expense account. Number 3. Then the fourth working. It's very important to do the working, so you won't make any mistake. But always try to do the working and get the correct answer. Right, so shall we do the fourth one? Credit purchase of 275,000 has been recorded both in trade creditors account and purchases account as 257,000. Number 4. So when we purchase on credit, double entry will be purchases account debit and trade creditors account credit. So actual amount is 275. It was recorded as 257. So purchases also purchase account 257, creditors account also 257. Both recorded 257. Now this is recorded less. How much is less? 18,000. So we need to debit purchases 18,000 and credit trade creditors 18,000. Purchases account debit 18,000. Trade creditors account credit 18,000. So it's correction of credit purchases 275,000 recorded as 257,000. Number 5. Depreciation of office equipment is completely omitted, completely not recorded. Means we need to record the double entry for office equipment depreciation. So double entry for depreciation is depreciation account debit, provision for depreciation account credit. Office equipment depreciation account will be debited. Office equipment provision for depreciation account will be credited 220,000. That's double entry. depreciation account debit, provision account credit. Number 5. Recording the omitted office equipment depreciation. Any doubts? Okay. So the next part is journal entries. We did the suspense account also. Now get the closing balance 114,900, So that is correct. There is no further differences. And the third part is adjusted profit after correcting the above errors. Now we need to do a statement of adjusted profit. So I draw here. Statement of adjusted profit. So we have the drafted profit, profit before adjustments, profit before adjustment. Profit before adjustment was how much? 448,000. 448,000. So I will teach you a simple method to calculate this. An easy way to do the calculation. Right. So what will affect the profit? What will affect the profit? There are two things which will affect the profit. What are those two? Either it will be income or expense. So only income and expense account will affect the profit, not anything else. Income or expense. right? So if the income increase, then the profit will increase. Or if the expenses decrease, then the profit will increase. So income or expense, if it is credit, the profit will increase, and if it is debit, the profit will decrease. Right? Income or expense. Credit means we increase the profit. If it is debit, we deduct the profit. So this is the summary. Okay. Let me explain from the example, from this question, then you will understand. Right. So let's see. First, identify. There are two steps. First, identify what are the income and expenses in this general journal. First, identify what are the income expenses in this general journal. Right. So I will highlight computer account is asset, computer maintenance, sales, interest income, interest expense, purchases, depreciation. So these are the income or expenses. These are the income or expenses, right? So income or expense, if it is credit side, we will add, very simple. We add 85,000, 58,000, 28,200, 28,200. And if it is debit, 18,000, 228 minus. That's it. Conflict maintenance, sales, interest income, interest expense, purchases, depreciation. Credited amounts will be added. Debited amounts will be deducted. Two steps. Right, two steps. First, identify the income expenses. Second step, credited items will be added, debited items will be deducted. So you can copy this and we will move to another question. Then we will move to question number 16 in the tube. Question number 16 in the tube. Right. So when you'll do it, I'll give some time. I'll give 5 minutes. I'll give 8 minutes. So you have until 8:05 to do this question. So let's start. Error 1. Credit purchase of 60,000 has been debited to purchase account as 6,000. While the credit entry has been recorded correctly. So credit purchases, double entry will be creditors account credit and purchases account debit. Credit entry is correctly recorded 60,000, but purchases account recorded as 6,000. Credit entry has been correctly recorded. Debited to purchases account as 6,000. Therefore, 54,000 we have to debit the purchase account, and that will be credited to the suspense account. 54,000. Always, if the opening balance is not given, you have to keep a space on the top. You are going to find out the opening balance. Purchases. So double entry will be purchases account debit, suspense account credit. Number 1. $54,000. Correction of credit purchases 60,000 recorded as 6,000 in purchases account. So that's the correction entry for number 1. Then number 2. Telephone expense 1200 has been recorded as 2100 in electricity expense account. This was correctly recorded in cash book. So telephone expense double entry will be cash account credit. Telephone expense should be debited. But this was recorded in electricity expense. Cash is correct, 1200. Recorded in electricity expense account as 2100. How do you correct this? So first you have to remove this 2100. Telephone expense, you have to debit 1200. And the difference is a difference 900 that should be debited to the suspense account. Suspense account debit 900. Yes. Suspense account debit 900. Telephone expense also debit 1200. Electricity expenses credit 2100. Correction of 1200 telephone expense recorded in electricity expense account as 2100. That's correction. Complete. Stationery expense 750 recorded in cash book has not been recorded in the stationery expense account. Cash is correctly recorded. Stationery expenses. Cash credit 750. Stationery expense account not debited. So we have to debit 750 to the stationery expense account, and that other entry goes to the suspense account. Number 3, stationery expense account debit 750, suspense account credit 750. Correction of stationery expenses omitted in the expense account. Right. So let's do the fourth one. Credit sale of 25,000 has been recorded twice, both in debtors account and sales account. So credit sales double entry will be debtors account debit and sales account credit. So this was recorded twice, 25,000. So 25,000 recorded twice in the debtors account and credited twice in the sales account. So one extra. Once excess. So how do you correct it? You have to remove one entry from the debtors and sales. 25,000. 25,000. So deduct 25,000 from the sales account. The sales account debit. 25,000. Debtors account. Credit 25,000. Credit sales recorded twice in both the accounts. And the last one, interest expense 5,000 has been credited to interest income account. This was correctly recorded in the cash book. Interest expense. Double entry will be cash account debit interest expense debit. And this was credited to interest income account. Cash is correct, 5,000. This was credited to interest income account as 5,000. This is wrong. So how do you correct this? Just remove from the interest income and record the correct entry in the interest expense. So total debited 10,000 and suspense account will be credited 10,000. in the double entry. Number 5. Expense debit 5,000. Suspense account credit 10,000. Okay, so the difference in the suspense account, we have to take it as the opening balance. Credit side is more, 64,750, and 64,750 minus 900 is 63,850, which is the opening balance, which you have to take it as the opening balance. $63,850. Now the easiest part, profit calculation. 175 is the drafted profit. So in the statement of adjusted profit, profit before adjustment is 175,000. Right. So first we'll identify the income and expenses from the general journal. Purchases, telephone expense, electricity expense, stationery expense, sales, interest expense, interest income. Identify the items. Credit is plus, debit is minus. So whatever goes to the income statement, only we will affect the profits. So there is only one credit balance, which is 2,100 and 54,000, 1,200, 750, 25, 5,000, 5,000. Purchases, telephone expense, stationery expense, sales, interest expense, interest income. $86,150 is the adjusted net profit. 86,150 is the adjusted net profit. So I want you all to do all the remaining questions in the queue, and then on Thursday I will do some of the other questions, and on Thursday, yeah, in the paper class, I will do some other past paper questions related to this, and also the ICQ stuff related to this. Any doubts? Is it clear? Yeah. You can copy the answer.